This is Ricardo with the Code 7 Podcast Network, and this episode's podcast promotion features 911 dispatches from the edge. Now, this is a Facebook fan page, and it is all about the humor here. And it's a place for 911 dispatchers or operators to network, vent, and share their stories. They also take private messages and they'll post anonymous questions so that everybody else can go on there, start a discussion, and answer that question for you. So make sure to check this out. It's an excellent page full of memes, stories, and really everything that you can think of. So it's facebook.com/911 dispatches from the edge. And now for the show.
Welcome to Within the Trenches. True stories from the 911 dispatchers who live them.
Good afternoon. This is Ricardo with the Code 7 Podcast Network, and I am sitting here with my co-host Whitney, and this is going to be episode number 43 of the Within the Trenches podcast. What's going on, Whit?
Hi, I think this is going to be a really fun episode tonight for all our listeners.
That's right.
All our listeners.
Oh, man. Okay, people listening right now, Whitney worked last night, so
Yes.
she hasn't slept at all. No, how much did you actually sleep?
Well, Ben and I always get in a borderline domestic assault when I get home from work at 5:30 because his alarm clock goes off at like 6:15.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can run in the door, brush my teeth, wash my face, and crawl into bed, sometimes I'm so tired I hallucinate the whole half-hour drive home.
Sweet.
But sometimes I can fall asleep. And this morning, I was like, turn off your effing alarm. It was a bad morning. So he left and I was pissed. So I had to kind of calm myself back down.
That's funny.
So I slept for a couple of hours. But if you notice, my eyes are watering terribly. I'm not.
You're making my eye watered.
I'm really happy
crap.
that our guest is here with us.
Yeah.
So-
normally when we do an yeah, don't cry. Normally when we do an episode like this, when we have a guest, we tell a couple stories first and then we introduce our guest. But this time it's a little different. It's a very good friend of ours, very close to us, and we're also doing this on video. So yeah, everybody listening to this, they're probably thinking, what jerks? They didn't even introduce their guest.
Yeah, just give us a minute.
I know.
Gosh.
He's just sitting there. Yeah, so our special guest today is one of our local city officers, and his name is Matt. What's going
Hi,
on,
Matt.
man?
Hey, how are you guys doing? Thanks
Good.
for having me.
Oh,
Thanks for your time.
Yeah.
This was supposed to start 1 hour ago. So
yeah.
bless
and-
Matt's awesomely patient. You can tell he's a father of 3. He's awesomely patient. Just sits here while we're trying to hook everything up and then laugh for the next 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Now my eyes are watering.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Is it out of anger though?
Yeah, a little bit.
When I get angry, I cry too. I find that sometimes too.
Right. You get punched really hard, and it's like, why are you crying? I'm not crying. I'm pissed off. That's what's wrong.
Yeah, I'm not crying. I have allergies.
Oh, this is going to be a good episode. I can tell already. See? The freaking eye is just
See?
watering like crazy. What have you done to me?
You don't have your guy liner on today though.
No,
do you
I
guys?
don't.
You
No.
don't have your eye makeup on?
Not this time.
Matt, do you have your guy liner on?
I do. I was in the green room for an hour, obviously, before we started the show. So
Oh.
That's right. Well, I hope you enjoyed the food and everything. Oh, no, you didn't because you
yeah.
declined.
Right.
Yes, Ricardo brought me lunch today.
And this guy didn't want any because he's trying to be gluten-free.
Yeah.
He works out way more. He works out more in one day than you and I ever have in our whole.
I know. I don't even dream
lives.
about working out.
Sometimes
I
I
don't even
lift.
dream about
Sometimes I lift the laundry from the wet spot in the washer to the dryer. But
it. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Matt
not working.
is truthfully though one of the last people I'd want to try to resist from ever in our entire
Yeah,
county.
don't tase me, bro.
No.
Yeah.
The other day, I actually came into dispatch. It was weird. Just driving here, I felt like I was late for a shift or something. I mean, I haven't been
So
here
surreal,
in about
isn't
3
it?
months. Yeah, it was very, it was crazy. And I pull in, and I pulled in and parked in the exact same spot
Isn't that
that I
so
always.
funny? Everybody has their spots.
Yeah, and even after I've been gone for this amount of time, I still park there. So then I come in and I walk in, and I remember looking around, and I was like, this is really weird. Like, I don't know why. It's like I've been on vacation for months, and then I came back
Right.
to dispatch. But then I went inside, and I was talking to everybody, and it was like nothing ever changed. I'm just describing different something different that I'm doing now with my new job. But there was something that happened that proved to me that things just never change. And I was talking to one of your coworkers, Whit, and she was on radios, and she went to give out.
I see the name, and I'm already chuckling myself.
And she went to give out a complaint, and I was kind of listening, kind of not, and I heard her tell the officer she was going to say, "This complaint is not in progress." Well, instead of saying "not in progress," she said "not impregnated."
What? And I don't think babies are on her mind or anything. I mean, her children are older. And
And she said it, and as soon as she said it, she unkeyed and just, and we were all dying in there. And one of the state officers keyed up.
She
finished it.
Impregnated?
Yeah. but as soon as she finished it, though, she realized what she said, and she unkeyed. And we just started laughing and just rolling. And I was standing there, I'm like, what are you going to do now? And she was like, I'm laughing too hard. I was like, I can take the radio.
Everybody would be like, oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so the state officer said, it's what now? Of course, you guys have to, you have to ask for clarification because it's funny. And so he said, what it's in what? And she goes, it's not in progress, not impregnated, not in progress.
She said that.
She said
it's also not impregnated, but I was going for. Oh, bless her heart.
You should have seen her screen, dude. It was like asteroids and stuff, just pop, 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 pop. All these things.
That happened the other night.
Or space invaders, I should say.
One of the two local fire departments up in the northwest part of the county. I say local because they're right by my house. But
right.
They were handing out glow sticks for all the kids that were trick-or-treating and whatnot. And two of the contract cars, both the guys that work in the area were out there helping, doing a little community PR type of stuff. And somebody said, hey, can you bring another box of glow sticks to this other fire department? And they said, yeah. And then they got tied up on a complaint or whatever. And they told Tim, he's my partner right now, they said, hey, will you let them know we're not going to be able to bring any glow sticks? And I said, key up, I'm going to yell. And he looked at me and I said, key up, I'm going to yell. And I'm at the council next to him. So they said, we're not going to be able to bring any more glow sticks. And he keyed up. And I just went, what? Same thing. My computer went, bink, 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 bink. A bunch of messages popped up.
Oh, that's awesome. See, that's always fun. And you being on the other side, Matt, you're riding around in the car and you get to hear all of that. I mean, do you laugh just as hard when you hear something like that in the car?
Or do you get irritated?
Absolutely. No, it's all good times for us too.
Yeah, because when we worked mornings together, we used to do we would do the sniff on the radio, the epic sniff, which.
Oh, I sent it to you.
Yes, you did.
Wait, Whitney, I gotta play it.
Whitney had one recently, so that you guys know what we're talking about.
So Ricardo had done this with the guys on the night shift when I started. I started working with Ricardo on nights 3 years ago, and
has that long ago?
Well, I started 3 years ago, but I think you came to nights 2 years ago.
Okay.
But anyways, he did this, and I always would chuckle and laugh, and it was with a couple of the contract cars. And when he left, it just continued with me. And I sent this to Ricardo the other night. I said, the text message said something like, the perfect trifecta. I keyed up and did this on Prime.
Yes.
And they followed with we didn't even talk about it. And this is what I'm talking about because I had to record it and send it to him. And it's just saved as the sniff.
The sniff.
It's perfect.
What was that in the background? The ding.
I mean, somebody was probably trying to burn the kitchen down again. I don't know. So anyways,
that's awesome.
So Matt, you get to hear that kind of stuff too, and I hope we don't drive you nuts.
Yeah, that and the there's a bunch of stuff that we would do on the radio. It just
the
giggity. Yeah, giggity.
Giggity.
And then, and on day shift, you don't have a whole lot of dispatchers that, because you, just like with us having our supervisors there, you have them, you have more people in the building and can't always have the fun you guys get on nights.
You're right. And it's just a different crew during the day. And I say that affectionately because there's wonderful people on both day side and night side. But it's typically like in any job that's shift work and you bid on your shift, it's typically people with more seniority that work during the day and they're just kind of at a different spot in their lives where We're all like, dude, I dare you to fart into the radio. I don't think many people say that during the day. Yeah.
You know, for a while there, when I first started doing all this stuff on the radio in the middle of the night, listeners, not when there's crazy stuff going on, I was starting to, they were calling me. They were like, man, you guys are like the Howard Stern of dispatching because of the stuff that you guys are doing. Because, I mean, everything that would come up, we would mention, we would have to say something. You know, like
timestamp. That's what I'm thinking of.
Timestamp?
When you timestamp 420 every morning.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
You'd be like,
420 every
radio
morning.
check. Central
Radio
Baker
check.
1, radio check. 10-4 Central.
Yep. 10-4 at 420.
Grow up. I'm going to throw a stapler at you.
Well, there was something that you did once that we were on the radio and you said you were going to say something like, it was like inconceivable or something like that.
Oh my gosh. I would practice.
I don't remember exactly what it was, if it was that or not, but
that was.
Is that what it was?
really?
It was. Yeah. From The Princess Bride, of course. So.
Yeah.
Obvious. You're right.
Yeah,
Obviously.
right.
Oh, man.
So yeah, somehow worked that into our radio traffic.
I don't remember how it went down, but he did it, and I was just laughing
man.
so hard when I was on radios, and I just keyed back up, and I think I just said 10-4, but I was obviously laughing on the radio because it was just superb.
I'm impressed.
It's we have a lot of fun. You know, we for a little while did the word of the day. You know, whether it was a color.
Yes.
You had to find a traffic stop and use, chartreuse as the color of the car, and
that's
a little
awesome.
challenging, but yeah, it's fun. We're obviously our town is kind of small and we don't, we don't get into some of the crazy stuff. So like you said, when things are quiet and we have the opportunity to have some fun with it,
exactly.
You kind of need that to help the day go by sometimes.
Of course, because the jobs that we do, you're seeing it. I mean, dude, you carry a freaking gun and a taser, so it's a crazy job.
Yeah.
Right.
So you need this kind of sense of humor and stuff to kind of get through it, because if not, you're going to dwell on it and you might as well burn out.
And my thought is that for every police officer, and I hate it because we are coworkers, but we're also friends. I mean, I would look at you and your wife any day of the week and be like, I just got in a fist fight with my husband. Is that okay if we come stay at your house? Just kidding. I wouldn't do that. But I wouldn't tell you if I got in a
You
fist
guys
fight.
got a fist fight here.
But and I just mean you guys are such great people, but I hate it because the clothing that you put on in the morning, people hate you for that clothing. Yeah. So you're right. Having a sense of humor is super important.
Of course. Now, excuse me. Recently, my daughter was watching Peter Pan. And of course, everybody knows that they fight pirates. Well, listening to that, I was just laughing to myself. And I was thinking back when we would talk like pirates, either on the radio or on the phone sometimes.
Just
how are you doing?
Just something. Just sometimes.
Yeah. Well, and of course, just like we were saying right now, it's when it was quiet and stuff. And usually whenever we did it on the phone, we knew an officer was calling up, and the officers call on a certain line. So we would know. Or the
paramedics, when they'd call to get times and numbers, kind of stuff, you'd wait for it. You'd pick up the caller ID and you knew it was them.
Yeah, exactly. Or whenever I answered the phone, I'd say, ahoy, hoy.
God, that's so you. That is so you. Hearing that immediately makes me think of you. Ahoy, hoy.
But the whole pirate thing, it just, because I think we were trying to fit in as many R's as we could at one point.
Another challenge.
Yep. So anybody who's listening to this right now, if you have a shift at night or whatever that is just dead and everything's going on, try that. See how many R's you can get in there like a pirate.
Yes.
And then, report it to us so we can see. Maybe we can get this starting as a game. Well, I don't know. Maybe not.
I don't know if we want to make a game about it, but if you're really close to the guys you work with, then
then you can do it like that. Because otherwise, there's a lot of people out there that are just way too sensitive.
Don't like to have fun.
Yeah, and that's what happened with us. There was a couple people that were just not digging the fun and stuff, even though they were doing their own thing, and we got in trouble for it and we had to stop. So that kind of sucks. But hey, what can you do? So one of the reasons we have Matt on today is because there's been a lot of articles that have been coming through lately, and I posted a couple on the fan page that have to do with people who are calling and abusing 911, and just, they've got non-emergency calls on 911 lines, and how a lot of that just, it's not good. So I guess what I want to get at, Matt, is when somebody calls in a bunch of times on 911, when they're abusing it, for one, I mean, is there a set number of times that someone has to call in before it's considered
on the
abusive?
criminal side of things, the law side of things, or is it a judgment?
It's our judgment. I mean, we have to be able to convince a prosecutor that whatever they've done was enough times or took enough of your guys' time up to consider it criminal. So there isn't a set number that they have to hit 3 calls and then it's criminal. But just the nature, I know we've all charged on my department. We've charged a couple of citizens in town with misuse of 911. And, it's just one of the things that, it's you go up there and it's usually they're drunk or there are some that are mental illness is another big one. Well,
then I guess the one in particular, and we don't use any names. I know who you're talking about, but with this specific person, then whenever he would call in and stuff, how does that work out? I mean, I guess what I'm wondering is, how do you keep your cool when you go to a call like this? They've abused 911 several times, and then you go to them and then you tell them, you know what, we're going to jail. How does that work?
Well, that's I guess just all part of the job. I mean, you guys understand as well as we do how your day can go from, you might have a day where you don't have a single call in a shift, or you might go from, a fatal accident in the morning to having some silly fun call, and you have to be able to adjust just like that, from call to call to call.
Of course,
with, and try and make that transition seamless. So, I mean, it's the same if you're going up there to talk to somebody who's intoxicated that's been calling because, his girlfriend pissed him off or whatever, and he wants you or he wants us to make everything right for him. So, some of us go in there and, it's just, I'm a very patient person. I can listen to them all day long. And that's how I go in initially, and try and convince them that, hey, you need to stop this, or, the consequences are gonna start ramping up.
Well, and the reason I asked you that too is because when we worked together, you took many, many calls, and I had to apologize right off the bat for that because I thought that the person that was working with you on mornings was actually the sergeant. And I don't know how any of you other dispatchers who are listening to this right now, it's not like a policy or anything like that. But usually, especially when I first started, I was told, the sergeant is the one who, he looks over everybody else. So, give the calls to
and he's like
the other person first. Right. Yeah. And then he's the backup. Well, I thought the guy who was working with you on mornings, because there would be 2 working in the city, I thought he was your sergeant. And that was going on for pretty much the whole 8+ years that I worked with my last dispatch center.
I'm so glad. Yeah. Because I just typed that in there for you to see. I was going to bring that up later and be like, yeah, by the way, when Matt would say he would go from call to call to call, it's because Ricardo kept giving him all the calls, and the other guy who was working with was like, that's sweet, I'm going to have another cup of coffee and
I know.
Go stop by the gas station, do a little community.
So that's why I asked you that kind of stuff, because you have been on many of those calls because I sent you to those calls.
Yeah, and that's what got me pissed off is, get in there and just start arresting people because, I mean, if nobody else is going to work.
But that speaks of the quality of Matt's personality, though.
That's true.
He never said a word for several years. He would take 8 complaints and his partner would take 1 during the same shift.
Yes.
And Matt never said a word, just showed up.
Yeah, because we worked on mornings together for about almost a year, I think. Yeah. So that whole year, up until maybe the last 3 or 4 months of me working on mornings with him, was when I realized, because
I don't remember. Pistol whipped you.
I think it was just on an MCT message that I sent you. I said something like, "I'm sorry, man, that I'm giving you all these calls, but that I think I explained it."
I was actually up here.
Were you up here?
I were talking in the kitchen, and you had asked who the sergeants were, and I said Brian and Ron, and you said this. My partner's not a sergeant. I said no.
And then there it was.
Yeah, all these years.
Oh man, this dude could have hit me with a frying pan and it would have been justified.
Your partner worked a weird schedule though, and kind of does some weirder things.
Right, so and that was another reason why I thought. Oh geez, that Yeah, kind of jacked me there, but but yeah. So you've got the experience there. What kind of ridiculous calls have you gone on to? Because we take tons of calls, and without saying too much or anything, but on your side of it, because we don't always find out until we get like an MCT message later.
Right.
We put all the initial information, and we're thinking, man, this is going to be a good call. I wish I could be there to see this. And can you think of anything in particular that
they're just because they're so ridiculous? Some of the ones that stand out, and again, these ones are more from the mental illness side.
Yeah.
I've been sent on calls of larceny of 5-pound bag of sugar.
No.
One neighbor in an apartment complex, and you get there and okay, what's going on with the sugar? Oh, my neighbor took my sugar. Well, how did he get in here and get it? Well, I gave it to him. Okay, and now he won't give it back. All right.
And they watch CSI, so they want you to detect that apartment.
They want fingerprints. They want the whole works. And it's, okay, well, let me go talk to your neighbor. And, of course, they get the sugar back and everything's good. But, yeah, on the way up here, this is what my life has become.
Right. I get paid good money to do this.
Yeah.
I had a larceny of pop cans one time and a picture of a girlfriend.
Really?
Yeah. It was some group of men that lived together that called us, and so took a picture of a girlfriend and some pop cans, and I wanted to say, take it back.
So then how do you deal with that?
Yeah,
when you go in, I mean, what you're going out there for, and then I mean, they're looking at you sincere.
And you're
like,
so
this is really
compassionate,
stolen.
You are so compassionate as a person. I highly doubt you go in there and start face palming people and get out of here.
Look,
I'm here
stupid.
to do my job. Yeah.
No, it's, that's just part of your training and experience. You go in there and you try to be the professional they expect you to be.
Right.
Because, even with a mental disability, they still have in their mind, the police are the people that are going to come solve their problems.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
So, I mean, you have to go in there, you might have to bite your tongue a little before you go. And it's like, all right, I gotta do my job here. And
you're probably not going to have to submit to the prosecutor or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, your report will probably be a little bit less time consuming.
Right.
But, Matt, bless your heart.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't know. I could do it, man. I think I would have to say something seriously to them for them to, kind of make them laugh so that I could laugh with them and get it all out. I'd be like, all right.
Yeah, and just start laughing.
Yeah, because otherwise, I don't know, man. I don't think I could do it. So big ups to you. But
thank you.
What do you think, working in a smaller city where a lot of your frequent flyers and kind of the ins and out of everywhere, what do you think would be the difference working in your city versus like a big New York, LA type of city?
I would have to say probably that they wouldn't get many of those calls. I mean, you're dealing, I think, in a New York or Chicago, you're dealing with so many felony complaints, so many, serious injury.
I never even thought about that.
That I would think, don't even get sent to those kind of calls.
You don't make that kind of contact with the community.
Right. Yeah. And that's where, that's part of being in a small town. If you make that choice to come work for us, then you have to know
the kind of calls that you're going to go on.
You're right. You're not going to be doing homicides every single day.
Right.
That's interesting because for some time there in this county, this was years ago now, but we were getting so many calls during, and this goes with the, non-emergency calls going on to emergency calls, fireworks calls. And, now the officers, they don't go out to it unless you want contact, otherwise you're probably going to get a drive-through maybe way later or not at all.
Yeah.
But there was a time where they were saying that we're not going to go out there no more. We're not going to go out for these little calls because we're stretched thin.
Right.
We need to go to the more important calls, and all these we're taking up, the officer's time. So that does make sense there, man.
Yeah.
What kind of calls the calls that you go out to, what are ones that, and this is going to sound weird, but I've said this before about like dispatchers, the calls that we take that are the ones that we really enjoy taking, or the ones that we excel at there. That sounds better. Are the ones that we really excel at. What are the ones that you've taken, like domestics or anything like that?
Working
I mean,
you're a PI.
Yeah.
What do you feel most confident.
Probably an accident because prior to working for the police department, I spent 5 years on the fire department and really enjoy that line of work as well. So I had gone through and taken a medical first responder course, got certified as a first responder.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy medicals. So I mean going out to the PI accidents or just medical calls in general that, we are informed when it's a priority 1 medical.
Yep. And to people that aren't familiar, a PI for us isn't a personal injury. It's an injury accident, not your fender bender. It's something big where not only will they need a police report, but they also need the fire department and ambulances to respond. And then a priority 1 medical is our most serious medicals. I know some people use alpha, beta, delta, whatever.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Geez, I almost forgot about all that. Yeah, there's all those different letters. One question that I'm sure, or at least I want to know, and this is me putting you on the spot here. How important is dispatch to your job?
I think it's hugely important. No, seriously though,
because we tell you where to go, as they say, or whatever.
And I've had this discussion with my wife many times. I mean, she's been part of the whole firefighter life, and knowing that when that pager goes off and I run out the door, she doesn't know what's going on because she didn't have a radio.
Right.
And she works in the city as well. So I mean, when she hears sirens coming and going, she's always wondering what's going on.
Right.
But I told her shortly after I started this job, you guys are my lifeline. And that's kind of why I spend a lot of time up here and getting to, sort of forge those friendships with you guys is, you're my lifeline. We, in our town, we have a partner most of the time, but the weekends we work alone on the day shift.
Right. Oh, that's right.
And, the sheriff's department who works closely with us, they might be light that same weekend. And my backup could be 20 minutes away, could be 2 minutes away. But if something goes sideways and I'm in a bad way, you guys are my lifeline. And if, I'm that jerk on the radio that's always giving you guys a hard time and doesn't appreciate what you're doing, not that you guys would do this, but if I key up because I'm in trouble, I don't want even a second of hesitation before you guys are doing everything you can to get everybody in there to help me. So I seriously believe that, you guys up here, you are the first responders. You're the guys that are getting those phone calls before we even know that there's a problem. And until we clear the call, I mean, you're our first line of defense, our lifeline. So
you can make me cry.
I know.
Maybe I should start working out. Sure.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, we are coming up on the wrap up here of this episode. But before we wrap up, I want to throw something out here. Now, this is something that we did. We did this a while ago on the page, on the fan page, and it was a contest that we had that it had to do with songs that were inappropriate for 911 to be put on hold. So before,
because we don't have any hold.
Yeah, because there's no hold music. Yeah.
It's going to be silent.
Yeah, I'm going to put you on hold. Don't hang up. It's going to sound like I did, but I'll be right back with you. Because there's no beep. There's nothing. Mm-hmm. Which I always wondered about that. Why don't they put a beep
everywhere
on there?
That we transfer people to or whatever? And when we have to call our neighboring counties, they have beeps. Why can't we get a beep?
They have.
Sometimes
beeps.
I feel like quick taking it off hold and beep. And then put it back on hold. Beep.
This is your beep. So before I read some of the stuff here that the fans put, because I posted this right as I was walking in here, I said, just post something up and go, and we've got several on here. So any one of you want to take a shot?
Cop killer on the list?
Oh my gosh! Yes, I didn't think about that.
Holy crap! No, that's not on the list. But this would be ones that you guys would think that are inappropriate. That you would put like your top.
Hit Me Baby One More Time by Britney Spears.
That would suck. Can you imagine calling for an issue that you have going on and hit me baby one more time?
Yeah.
That was my best voice, by the way.
That was good.
And we, as we're going into this, we didn't mention it, but
you know what else
you've been singing some song. You've been singing a song, Whitney. What's it called? What was it?
I came in like a wrecking ball. And I just really wish I could just be really loud, but the comm center's right on the other side of this wall.
That's true.
And
yep. That was one thing that I didn't mention was that we are here within the quiet room of the dispatch center.
Yeah. That song, I just love that song right now.
I have never heard it until now. Whoa.
Wow.
That was.
You've heard it, right?
Yeah.
You've never
You
heard
haven't seen all the controversy?
No, I've seen the controversy and all that stuff and the thing that happened with Art Prize in Grand Rapids.
Division I GVSU.
And-
Oh, there we go again. Oh, that one hurt.
D1 athletics.
Oh, really quick. For those of you that have started listening later on, I was Ricardo's first interview. I went to Grand Valley. My dad is super involved with Grand Valley athletics. And I was talking. I mentioned that Grand Valley was a D1 school. It's not. It's a D2 school. And I caught it and I thought nobody else would catch it. I was like, just keep going. Nobody's going to notice it. Everybody noticed it. My dad listened to that interview and he's like, what? Are you for real? Yeah. You're for real? I was like, Dad, but I don't think anybody else is going to catch it. You're just really involved. So you caught it. Immediately, our coworkers that work on the road were listening to it anyway. So, so that's the D1 joke.
Yes, the D1 joke. And I was also listening to episode 6 when we had Crystal and Jen from Ottawa County. And you were giving me smack about something. And I said, easy there, D1 athletics or something. Yeah. He goes, it starts. Oh, man.
Well, I'm glad
awesome.
I could help rip the scab off.
Yeah.
Thanks,
way to go, dude.
Remember how I talked about how compassionate he is and what a great asset he is to his city police department? And he's a big bully.
Oh, man. Okay. So some of the songs on here, this first one, which could be funny, I guess, but it's I Shot the Sheriff. Arg. Oh.
Yeah, I just
I don't know about that one.
Maybe like Killing Me Softly by the Fugees. But you don't have to bring law enforcement into it.
I know. What's that all about? Another one, Bites the Dust. I'm sure that one has been sung after specific medicals.
Right.
No, maybe not.
It probably has been. Death happens in this line of work. Sometimes
it does?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Highway to Hell.
Yeah.
Stairway to Heaven.
Yes. There you go.
This is a good tune,
It
man.
is.
Very good tune. F the Police.
You know we're all singing it in our head right now.
I'm going to listen to that on the way home. While I'm driving the speed limit, of course. Because
you don't work
I
here
can't
anymore.
do anything. Right?
Luckily,
it's no longer my county.
I remember when you got pulled over one time on your way home from work.
Oh, I know.
Partner running lean ran the license plate to get it all ready for the deputy. And all of a sudden she's like, hey, that's Ricardo.
Yeah. And he did not know who I was either.
What?
Because my beard was going like long and I had the stocking cap on and stuff. And, so we're going through it and, he's asking me all the stuff and everything else. And he's just kind of looking at me and he goes, you look familiar. Do I know you? Do you have a record? And I said, it's me, Ricardo from Dispatch. And he goes, oh, Ricardo. And I just took off my hat and he goes, oh, you were speeding. I was like, oh, shoot. Yeah. So I got a ticket, but what can you do?
It happens.
You did?
Huh? Yes.
No.
I did.
No.
Well, I got a written warning.
I was going to say,
Yeah, it
there's
wasn't a
no
ticket.
way he wrote you a ticket.
No,
He
I got a
couldn't
written warning.
Do you want to guess how
What?
he feels about dispatchers?
Yeah, right.
We're cool too. Not
Yeah.
that cool, I guess. The theme to Jaws
Yeah, I can see that.
or from Halloween. Or
Okay.
this another one says the funeral march. I don't know what that is.
Mm-mm. Unless that's Amazing Grace.
No, it's not Amazing Grace.
No?
It's like, but I'm thinking of like the Bridal March.
I'm pretty sure that's
That's the funeral
that,
one.
Yeah, that is the death.
Yep, that is the
Or
funeral
the
one. Yeah.
graduation one. Da, 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 da. But I don't know. I can't think of what the
As we go on.
vitamin C.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, that's just a different one. You never
Oh.
heard that song?
No.
Oh, it was like a class of 94 song or whatever.
Oh,
whenever it
no. Wait a
came
minute. I
out.
think I do
Right.
know what you're
Yeah.
talking about. Yeah. There's a song, Bodies, from,
I'm
crap. I
thinking
can't
of-
remember their name. It's Let the Bodies
I was
Hit the
gonna
Floor.
say, that's the one I'm
that
thinking
one.
of.
Yep. That one, Gunpowder and Lead,
Oh, yeah. That's a country song.
is
Mhm.
Miranda Lambert.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a female that sings it.
Ah,
Mm.
well, Public Enemy's 911's a joke.
Fine. Next time you call us, I'll tell you what a joke I am.
Oh, that's awesome. And then I'm assuming this last one has to do with that meme. It wasn't just a meme. It was a news segment that came out where this lady was saying, "Ain't nobody got time for that."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know.
And you know
I know about that.
Yes.
Forever. Anytime anything would happen, I have a structure fire. Okay, I'm going to put you on hold and get the fire department started. What are you doing? I need you to get an ambulance to stage. I got a structure fire. Ricardo would pop up and be like, "Ain't nobody got time for that."
You actually sang that song too in episode 5.
I did.
For WZZM.
I did. Oh, for Angie Cunningham.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, because we were talking about late at night when we would sing songs to pass the time.
The entire Bohemian Rhapsody. That song is like 45 minutes long.
Yes. That was
Everybody would stop while
amazing.
somebody was on a call or traffic stop was getting called out. And then you'd hang up the phone and you'd pick right
Yep,
the
right
note
back
that
up.
you ended on.
Magnifico.
Oh, I see a little silhouette.
Oh, man. Well, this has been an excellent episode. And Matt, thank you very much once again.
You're welcome.
Now, is there anything else that you would like to mention or to add? Or
Or a story or anything.
No, it's just
Talk about how great we are for another couple minutes.
yeah. I think we're good.
He's like, I think we're good.
Yeah. Where's that
Not
end
a lot of
button?
material here.
What?
Oh.
I'm going to cry now off camera.
No, I really appreciate what you guys do. Appreciate you having me here today. It's a lot of fun.
Yes, it was definitely a good time.
Yeah, for our listeners, this is a dispatch-focused show, so there's a lot of dispatchers that listen to it. But there's a lot of people that aren't dispatchers that just enjoy it, so it's great for them to get these little law enforcement. I think we should do this a little more often.
Yeah, we
Still
should.
keep it dispatch-focused,
Right.
but fire and EMS and law enforcement corrections just kind of...
We still have that episode that we want to bring everybody in.
We do. And Matt was going to sit for the police side.
That's right.
But then...
Yeah, you're still going to have to do it. The police, fire, EMS, and have
a good show.
a
Corrections,
big
too.
old episode. Yeah. Yes, because
Because now
Dave,
we have... Dave went from a paramedic to corrections. He was
Yes.
going to be the other one. And then...
Yeah, so it'll be a good episode. We're gonna have to plan that one very soon here. But this is gonna be the wrap up of episode number 43. And like I said, thank you very much for
thanks,
joining
Matt.
us.
We appreciate it.
No
And
problem.
as always, you can email the show, and that's going to be the jcast@thejabberlog.com. You can also use wttpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter, which is actually a new handle now because some
what was up with that?
jerk off who had his Summer's Eve showing ended up hacking our... I'm sure people couldn't read between the lines.
Yeah,
of that. Yeah, they somehow hacked my my Twitter account, and they ended up suspending it because I don't know. I guess they started sending out a bunch of spam tweets, so I had to switch it up. So that one is now @911 podcast. It actually sounds a lot better than WTT podcast
because a lot of people forget how many T's and P's and
right. And this just is specific for 901 podcast. So it's @901 podcast. You can find us on Facebook and make sure to like us. It is facebook.com/Within the Trenches podcast. And do not forget our podcast promotion that was featuring 901 dispatches from the edge on Facebook. You can find them. They have excellent memes, stories, anything on there. You can give them questions and they can put them out there anonymously. And this will be posted up and available 24/7 on thejabberlog.com. Have a good one.
Thanks. Bye.
You just listened to Within the Trenches on the JCast. If you have any questions or would like to be a guest on the show, send an email to thejcast@thejabberlog.com.